All right, guys, so today's topic is going to be about parents and the impact that they make on their kids without realizing it. So, parents don't realize the amount of impact that they make on their children's lives. Every little thing, every small, minute detail adds up. It stacks up, it gets stored, and is absorbed into these little versions of ourselves. Having these loud outbursts, slamming the doors, slamming the kitchen cabinets, slamming the dishes, just freaking out, right? And everyone hears you. You're stomping around the house. You're just being a menace, right? You're letting everyone know you're having a bad day. With all that, parents are doing the poorest job ever of managing their own anger, their own feelings, their own ability to be like, everything's fine. You suck. You suck at that. You're doing terrible. And this type of behavior hits me right at home, really deep. That's what I grew up with. They're very toxic, I guess you can say, very menacing. With all these anger and loud outbursts, this is how the child typically engages with you. Think about that. Think about that. That is how your kid typically has an interaction with you, is you yelling in their face, letting them know how upset you are, how frustrated you are, and you take it out on them. You take it out on your own kids. Make that make sense. The biggest thing that they're going to have to worry about is what toy to play with, but not in your household. In your household, the biggest thing they have to worry about is you. You are the biggest threat. You are the biggest problem. You are the scariest thing because you can't manage your emotions, your feelings, know how to just be okay. You are bleeding that instability right off into your kids. You were just open mouth pouring it in and say, here you go, it's packed full of mental issues and trauma. Chew it up and swallow it. It's insane. The amount of awareness that parents have today is just absolutely insane. And you cannot fathom why your kid turns out the way they do. It's because of you. Good job. You are an outstanding parent. Best mom and dad award goes to you. And from the child's perspective too, through all this anger, through all this abuse you're doing, you're screaming in their face, you're beating them, you're throwing them into the rooms, which is their only safe space that they have, by the way, because nowhere else in the house is safe because you're in that area. They are in danger of being in the same space as you because you're just that awful. And as they're growing up, they're having to deal with these canyon-sized mental scars that you've been afflicting on them. They do not know how to fix it because it was just forced upon them. Here you go. Take it. And now it just turns into emotional triggers, and we don't even know why it's emotional triggers because it's so buried deep down within ourselves that when we think about it, we cannot recall where it came from because our childhood is just blank. It's black. I can't remember anything because it was just so bad back then that I've just muted it all out, and here I am now. I pretty much just spawned into life. And me, myself, I don't remember much of my own childhood prior to 13 years old. It's all blurred to me besides a few small pockets of memories that I guess you can say are good times. But here I am now in my 30s, trying to make the best of it. I'm trying to nurture this little seedling of myself, the little thing that I should have been. I'm trying to get that thing to grow. It was supposed to be bearing fruit by now, but it's not. It's not. I'm still having to work on myself to get myself to where I should have been by this age. But even though it kept getting singed, it kept getting burnt out right at the start it would grow, it kept growing. It would continue to pop up and keep trying to grow, even though it kept getting burnt out. And now, finally, I'm able to allow it to grow in a much better environment. It can actually breathe for once. It can actually have a little bit of water and some small nourishment. Still got its cloudy, dark days that come and stunt the growth, but it is still growing. It is still doing its best to progress and make the most of what it has, thankfully. But I just got to say, despite all the odds, everything that was against me and against you and preventing your progress and stopping you from being the best person that you can be for yourself, you just have to keep allowing your seedling to grow. Keep allowing it to sprout, no matter how many times it gets burnt out, no matter how many times it gets bent, stomped on, ripped out. It will keep growing. Keep taking care of it and do your absolute best. I'll see you guys in the next one.